Hello everyone and welcome to episode 212 of Sold with Updike Pugh.
I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh and today we have a great show in store for you. We've got a really amazing house that is in North Dallas that is in Russwood Acres.
And in our second segment, we're going to give you a little bit of a market update. Since January's over, we're going to talk about January 2022 compared to January 2023.
There's a lot going on that segment.
Yeah, there is.
Well, you know, we had a lot of bad weather, and so not a lot happened last week. I think that everybody was pretty much stuck at home. I know that we finally got out, I think, Friday, was the first time we got out.
I got out Wednesday and drove over to Adrian's house. That was my, I'm getting out of here.
You're braver than I am. I just remember hearing I can remember the streets cracked as people drove, and I was like, that is a lot of ice. And then when I went and shoveled the ice off the back patio, I thought it might have been like a quarter of an inch, but it was every bit of an inch thick. And that explains why when I walked on it, it never snapped. So there's a lot. Other than that, the weekend caught up on the Grammys, which was okay.
Yeah, I didn't really do much. Went to happy hour with some friends and gosh, Saturday.
You should on Saturday.
Oh, Saturday I did. I forgot about that. Gosh, I was so tired. I forgot about it. I really was.
You were everywhere.
We were everywhere. We went from almost in McKinney all the way to the Colony.
That was a long drive.
Yeah, it's a long drive.
It's 50 minutes back.
Yeah, it was.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into the market watch. And this is a really interesting market watch because we want to keep into context that we had bad weather last week. And that did play a significant impact on Dallas and the real estate, just given the fact that we couldn't get out and make things happen.
And so the coming soons, there was no change in it whatsoever. There were 44 comparing week to week, and we're skipping that week that was Snowmageddon here, Ice-mageddon. New actives were down about 41%. There were 228 in the Dallas County market, and option period contracts were down about 8%. There were 290 option period contracts that were executed in Dallas County.
And so once a contract moves into its pending status and everybody's agreed upon the repairs that need to be made, that is actually down 24% for 117 units here in Dallas County over the last 7 days. And then moving into sold, we had down 13% with 185 units that were moved through MLS. And we look at the mortgage rates. Mortgage rates are at 6.229 for the month, and this is actually holding pretty steady. It's up just slightly. These are for 30-year fixed conforming loans.
And that was, if you think about it, that interest rate is just 0.1% higher than it was. It's about 0.5% higher than it was 2 weeks ago. But in that 2 week period, the Fed raised their overnight rate 1/4 point. So
everything was baked in?
Everything was kind of baked in, which to me means that your mortgage, had that Fed increase not occurred, we might have actually seen interest rates drop a bit below 6%.
It'll be interesting to see where they hover. I hope that we see them just under 5 or just under 6 here this year. I think that would make a vast difference of what happens within the market.
You know, I keep thinking back, and when I first started selling real estate, interest rates were 12%. And then when a couple of years in, when interest rates fell below 10%, we just thought it was fantastic. So, you know, it's all relative.
It is relative.
It's just interest rates are what interest rates are going to be.
My parents, when we moved from San Angelo to Weatherford, I think Dad was at 12%. And then he refinanced to 8%. And then I think later on I was like, hey, there's better money out there. You should go get some. So it will all even out. If one thing is certain, it is that real estate is a cyclical event.
That is true.
So what we're going to do now is take a look at this amazing house. It is 5111 Pebblebrook Drive, and that is in the zip code of 75229. This is a 5-bedroom four full baths and a half bath, and it is 4,433 square feet.
And it's such a great location. This is right off the corner of Inwood Road and Royal, and it is such a convenient location because you've got great access going north on the tollway or south on the tollway right there. If you head north on the tollway and you hit 635, you've got the express lanes that will take you all the way out to the airport or all the way over to 75, or past 75 actually.
And if you need an airport to commute to, you've got Love Field, which is probably 15 to 17 minutes away. You can also jump on 635. That'll take you to the north entrance into DFW Airport. And you were just there the other night, and hop, skip, and jump from your house, and you're
Yeah.
in this vicinity.
Yeah, absolutely.
So these are really interesting key factors. If you're not from Dallas, they're really important to remember. The other thing too is what we like to point out are what some of the locals like to do in this area. And one of the things, given that pickleball has taken off and is the nation's fastest growing sport there is, Netherland Parks is a little secret getaway. We went to and played here, I don't know, about 5 weeks ago, pulled into this neighborhood, pulled up to this park, and I thought, there is nothing here. And then took a little jog, go down the path that you see right there across the creek, and there is a two tennis court park, and it also has set up for 4 pickleball courts.
Wow, that's great. And that's, believe it or not, that is like 2 blocks from where one of the former presidents live.
I know. You
So
know
there
how we
will be-
know? Because when we had Yolanda listed, we tried to fly the drone. We couldn't get the drone in the air because it was red because it was so
Yep.
close.
Yep.
Very interesting.
One of the other restaurants, or one of the restaurants that's in that area that's really great is called Escondido. And this is a newer Mexican restaurant that is at Preston Center. At Preston Royal. This is on the southwest quadrant. It's right there by Saucy's Thai, right from Gazebo Burgers. This is a brand new restaurant that's in there. We went there, I guess it was about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and had a really interesting experience. It was actually really good. I'm not using interesting in a bad way. We went there, no reservation. It was a Friday night actually. They were slammed. The hostess said, it's about an hour and a half wait for dinner for the 4 of you. And I said, okay, well, we'll go have a drink at the bar, and we'll just hang out. And if we decide it's too long, we'll let you know. Within about 20 minutes, she came over and said, I have a table ready, but I'm going to need that table back in an hour and 15 minutes for a reservation. And so we were like, well, shoot, yeah, we can be in and out of here in an hour and 15 minutes. So sat down, had a really great dinner. Service was excellent. I've never had that happen before. And I thought it was a really cool way to manage your space, set expectations with people. I thought it was a great experience.
I think the neighborhood needed it desperately. It is a wonderful, I've been there as well, been there several times. I love it. That's why I was really happy that we were able to put it on here, and I'm glad to hear you had such a good experience, and we hope you do too. One of the other things that we like to point out in a neighborhood, because this is a neighborhood, is where are the grocery stores? And this is a really great example of the grocery stores range from, you can get Sprouts, which is over, I believe, at Forest or it's either Forest or, and what?
Marsh. Forest
Okay.
and Marsh?
I was going to go to a different one. There's another one that's
Oh,
over
there
there.
isn't? Yeah. I'm sorry.
So there's 2. There's also Central Market. There's 2 of those. You've got Tom Thumb, multiple of those. Don't forget El Ranchero. It is one of my favorite places to go for breakfast tacos on Saturday.
Why on Saturday?
I mean Sunday.
Why on Sunday?
Because they help.
Anyway, also, yeah, there are 3 Tom Thumbs right around that. The Central Markets, as Weston said, those are both great places to go, and you've got a Whole Foods there within within a mile.
It is amazing. So again, pointing this out because if you're not from here, this is a really important question that people ask. There are great grocery stores in this area, so enjoy. There they are. So without further ado, let's jump in and take a look at 5111 Pebblebrook Drive. Again, this is a 5-bedroom, 4 full, 1 half, 3-car garage. It is 4,433 square feet, priced at $1.5 million.
Move in, unpack, make it your own. This house is so move-in ready, it's incredible. The drive up on it is really so sweet. You have this great little courtyard out, you can see through the windows there. Come into a formal living room, hardwood floors. Home is done just beautifully.
And I think that it's so interesting because you can go into some of these houses, and this is again a 1-story ranch, and it is on 0.595 of an acre, that are cared for and have been meticulously done. Little things like if you look in the corner right there, the baseboard that runs around, or the flooring that runs around, is an interesting detailing. We saw it also in one of the hallways, but they've renovated and they've just cared for this home.
And the kitchen's just knocked out. 42-inch cabinets go all the way to the ceiling, double oven, stainless steel leather appliances. I really thought the green granite was a kind of a cool touch in there.
I loved it. And I also like that they really took in consideration the way that this family lived. They've got the wine, they've got, you could put art in that niche right there, but it is adjustable, which is really great. It just works, and it works with the rooms that it's adjacent to. So it's easy to bring food into the dining room. It's really easy to converse with those that are in the living room. And it has really great access to the outdoors, which is really important when you're grilling. So again, we're looking at a really well-designed but functional kitchen.
And I love this living room. This has such a lodge feel to it, but it's like a Ritz-Carlton lodge.
And so the fireplace that right there, this picture doesn't quite do it justice. Yes, the picture is great, the natural light, we love the ceilings, but it is a wonderful focal point. And as you can see here, these built-ins really continue. Again, from the kitchen to here, there's really just a warmth, and it's a really cool way to display whatever you have going on in your life, whether it's ceramics or books. This is a smart house.
And those doors all cascade outside and really give you great access into the backyard. And this room is...
This is the actual mother-in-law, as you would call it, second living area. And this is the mother-in-law. These ranches are so notorious for having this configuration. And I think it's so awesome because if you are in a situation where it's multi-generational, or if you have relatives or friends that come over from overseas and are here for months, this is a great way to give them privacy and still be under the same roof.
Really nice bath that is separated. It's got the shower tub combo in it. I think those are marble countertops that are in the bathroom. The nickel fixtures, really nicely done.
And so if you go into the other side of the house, this is when bedrooms 2, 3, 4 in the master begin. And so this is a really great configuration. It Jack and Jills with the other one right here. So it's a really nice way that this works. Good walk-in closets. I liked the carpet. Again, this is on the other side of the house, so it does separate from the mother-in-law. And then this is the fourth bedroom.
It is, and they use this as an office setup. It's got an ensuite bath. Really, and these rooms have really generous sizes on them. Yeah, this master bedroom is almost 20 by 20.
Which is enormous. And again, this is at the back of the house, which I really liked. Smartly done because they have the transom windows above the bed, but you also have access to the outdoors, which is really nice as well. Gives you that light, smartly done with the art lighting that they have here in the ceiling as well. Nice vaulted ceilings.
Blackout shades on those doors also.
And look at this bathroom.
Wow.
I felt like I was in a hotel spa in this bathroom.
Yeah, I would agree. Walk in, this is a really nice laminated wood cabinetry. The countertops are done really well. I love this focal point above that sink that's right in front of you looks out on the backyard. And each side of that has a medicine cabinet that opens and it gives you a full-size mirror.
It's pretty great.
It was cool.
And then this is actually the combination, the toilet there is on the left-hand side, tub, and then the shower. This actually is overlooking a private backyard that does not open to the rest of it, so it's really nice and private. Here we get to see the architectural detailing and a glimpse of the skylight that is there. The closets are on either side, and as I mentioned, this has its own private walkout. This is a great scenario if you wanted to put a hot tub or just additional Zen garden elements. This works out so well.
It really does. And this is the rest of the backyard. I love the mature trees here. They really give this yard definition. They really make you feel like you're in a more mature home.
That's a great way to put it. And so if you would like to take a look at 5111 Pebblebrook, it's a 5-bedroom, 4 full, 1 half, 3-car garage, built in '68. 4,433 square feet, priced at $1.5 million, which comes in at $338 a foot.
And we wanted to say thank you to Marti Voorheis for letting us talk about her home. In the links below, you'll see other pictures that we didn't get to include today, the information about all of the things around it. And if you'd like to see this home, just reach out to us. We'd be happy to make that happen. And with that, we'll be right back. Did you know there are a lot of ways you can keep up with us? For starters, every Wednesday at noon, we host Sold with Updike Pugh, live from our Facebook and YouTube channels. Our show is dedicated to featuring some of the best homes in the Dallas market and about sharing timely information about market trends. But don't worry if you missed the show, because you can always listen to them on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify.
Still want more? Follow us on Instagram, where you get a first-hand look at what it's like to be a realtor. It's not always previewing homes for clients or getting them ready to go live in MLS. Lastly, visit our website and you'll be able to create a custom home search tailored specifically to your wants and needs, that's timely and accurate. Whether it's square foot, location, or the neighborhood, we have you covered.
If you'd like to know how much your home is worth, we can help with that too. Just visit homeprice.fyi, enter a few pieces of information like your home address, and we'll email you a price. When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be realtors for life.
Hi everybody, welcome to the second segment, episode 212 of Sold with Updike Pugh. I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh, and today in the second segment, we're going to talk about real estate market trends year over year for January. And I know Jeff loves these topics when they're really long. He's like 5 topics on why your roof sucks. He wants it really short.
This is actually, it's interesting to me. I mean, numbers are always interesting to me. Seeing trends, they can be somewhat boring because all it is numbers, but I like the graph part of it because it does, like, it's a good way to visually kind of see what's happening in the market.
And before we get too in the mire, this is not going to be so deep that you're going to be put to sleep. But one of the great things I want to point out is that we have the ability to pull this data for any area, zip codes. And so this can get really important if you're looking to make an investment or a move. So let us know and we can make that happen.
It's one of the things that I think we do a little differently than a lot of others because we do really focus in on this data.
Right.
Real estate is not necessarily just about the comps in your neighborhood, but it's what the direction of the market is.
Correct.
And pricing the home properly. We all know not the only thing, I don't want to say it that way. The most important factor in selling your home is pricing it properly.
That is correct. Because it is what drives the rest of the bus.
That's exactly right.
And you know, we were on tour yesterday and ran into several agents as we were out and about, and it was the #1 topic, like, what is the market doing? It is on everyone's mind because it is a little different, and what we saw in the past in 2022 was very different. So we thought we'd take a look and give you a better idea of where we're headed.
So slide #1, we're talking about the sales price in Dallas County. Dallas County is going to be the red line there, and the blue line you see is the entire MLS. And you can see the median sales price began in January of this year. And in Dallas County, it was $315,000.
And then that actually, as you can see in the peak, if we can slide up there, the peak of the market, it hit 405. And this is when all of the clickbait titles started coming in as they talked about how everything had dropped off. But one of the important things that we want to point out is that by the end of the year, when all the dust had settled, we were still up 15,000 over the beginning of January last year versus January of this year. And that is a traditional 5% increase in the actual median sales price.
That is really what our market does on average, or has done on average for the last 30 plus years.
Had it not had a drop off, can you imagine what it would have been like today? That rate of appreciation, we didn't calculate that. That would have been, yeah, it would have mind-bending.
It would have continued to go right up. The next slide is a month's supply of inventory, and this is really interesting because we're not dealing with enough inventory now to even be at a balanced market. It is still what most economists would consider a seller's market because you need somewhere between 3 and 4 months worth of inventory for that balance to happen. And then when you get up into the 7, 8, 9 months, that's where it begins to become a buyer's market because houses just aren't moving up there.
And it is important to show you here that both the entire MLS and Dallas has begun to kind of take a mirrored image of itself. We started 2022 in January with 0.8, and then we ended this year, or we started this year with 1.6 months of inventory. So it's basically doubled. One of the things we are seeing is that houses that are still priced right, super clean, are averaging still a couple of days on the market. So it's not going to sit there forever as people are hoping. So best to be well versed on what that neighborhood has to offer.
And I think this next slide's really going to tell you the crux of why we're not seeing values fall. You know, if you look back at 2007, 2008, when we were in the peak of that market, there was so much inventory available.
Right.
And we're not dealing with that now. And that's really what's kept our market, I think, very healthy here. We started in January of 2022 in Dallas County with about 1,300 active listings. And then we really didn't increase much. We kind of ended the year with, well, 2,200, excuse me, that's right. We ended the year with about 2,200 in the Dallas area. If you look at the entire MLS there is a big significant difference between what started the year and how we ended that year.
And I think, Dallas has become very diverse, and the entire MLS actually tracks a large distance. You can speak more to where that all is.
Abilene to Tyler, Wichita Falls, State Line, all the way down to Waco. And it's huge. It's one of the largest MLSs in the country.
And because of that, I think that Dallas's inventory is lower. We have tons of people that are moving just into this North Texas area, and therefore inventory doesn't actually get built up because we do have those people from Chicago, from California that are actually relocating here often.
And you made a really good observation earlier that Dallas County makes up about 22% of the sales that were reflected in the entire MLS. And so the Dallas County market is a huge driver.
It is.
Huge driver.
It is, and it is interesting. The fourth slide that we're going to take a look at is going to be actually new listings. And new listings, again, it was a very, for us, it was more of a flat line. We had small blips and we had small valleys. And I think that, prior to, 2008 and 9, this was a typical way that Dallas real estate moved. It just kind of, you would describe as it just kind of tumbled along, super seasonal. We knew it was happening. But you can see in some of the other markets in the entire MLS, it was a lot more volatile. And that volatility can actually increase in value, as you see here, and it can actually have huge drops as well.
And this is the one that I was referencing earlier where I said there really wasn't much of a change, because I think the beginning of the year, there were, excellent, Zach, that there were 1,500 new listings in January, and then when we got to January of this year, there were even fewer. There were only 1,346 new listings.
It is interesting that we see that we have new listings are lower, but days on market or months on market is greater, even with less inventory. And that just goes to that point that we're seeing that retraction from buyers for the simple fact that interest rates have changed so dramatically.
And our last slide is going to talk about closed sales. And this was starting off the year, we had about 1,210 closed sales in January, but because of those inventory issues that we're still dealing with, we only had 741 in January of this year.
And that is, again, that is a big drop. It'll be interesting to see which way we head into 2023. With fingers crossed, we think that things will be really strong. Again, it looks like it will have a seller's market, even though sellers are aware that they have to make concessions for buyers given the new interest rates. And as we will look, as what we'd like to conclude is talking about the number of people that are actually making application for loans has increased, actually 25% week over week, which is very interesting.
And the 57% of those that did apply locked rates where they were paying a half of a point, at least half of a point, and 44% paid at least a full point. And if you want to know what points are, reach out to me directly. I won't bore everybody here.
But that is important because we are seeing people becoming creative, but not in a way that it was in 2005, 6, and 7 when it was interest-only ARMs and you could fog a mirror. That type of creativity was doom and gloom at the end. This kind of creativity is actually smart business decisions.
It really is. So I hope you all found that helpful. If there's any information that you'd like that is a little more granular than this, we'd be happy to provide that for you. Just throw us a little note in the comments below and we will make that happen.
And just remember, we want to be your realtors for life.
When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be your realtors for life.